efficiency. So Jamaica to me is like India 20 years ago from an opportunity standpoint. Barbados and Bahamas are a little bit ahead of that. Guyana is even further behind Jamaica in that standpoint. So there are opportunities there that you can predict where the growth is going to come from in terms of the industries, because it's happened before. It's happened in Singapore, it happened in South Korea, it obviously happened in parts of China, it happened in India. So we know where the growth is going to come from, and you just have to select essentially the winners in that. So you look for companies with moats. That's really it. It's actually not that complicated in my opinion to do this. So we've selected somewhere that we don't have that much competition. Right? We know it. We know the ground. And then of course we look at Jamaica in particular right now, and some interesting stats, right? You look at October of 2023, last year, and Jamaica gets upgraded by Moody's. A few weeks later, they then issued their first ever international bond in Jamaican dollars. So for the first time in Jamaica's history, since 1962 independence, Jamaica is able to borrow money from overseas investors in Jamaican dollars. And that is because we've had a fairly stable exchange rate, which is something I've not seen since I was born. I was born in 81. That's not how it worked. So that means that somebody else outside has confidence that a dollar US converted to Jamaican today, being paid back in 5 years or 10 years at that interest rate, they're not going to have any FX risk. They're being compensated for that risk. That's huge. Not long after that, in November as well, the United States is downgraded by Moody's. So Jamaica is upgraded because our debt to GDP ratio has gone from 144, 142 down to 70 and is on its way to 60. America gets downgraded a month later because their debt to GDP ratio continues to climb. That's insane. Jamaica now has the lowest unemployment it has ever had since independence, which is on par with Germany. The debt to GDP ratio is also on par with Germany. Of course, there's always a caveat to that. How many people are actually in the employment pool, as well as how many people feel that they're earning decent wages. So unemployment is one thing. You want a lower number, but we want fair pay or good pay. What are the quality of the jobs? The quality of the jobs will improve as Jamaica moves further up the value chain and improves the education system, improves productivity, improves numeracy, improves literacy. So we think there's a golden window of opportunity to invest in Jamaica. We saw where we had the best performing stock exchange for 5 years in Jamaica, up to I think it was 2015 or 2017 in the whole world. It was Jamaica, Vietnam, and then the US. Things are now down. Perfect. This is now when you want to buy things. Great companies are on sale. People are starting to earn more money, so we can go in and build these affordable homes for them. We can go in and look for opportunities to invest in undervalued businesses that we think will do well. But think about this. If it works in Jamaica and works in Guyana, works in Barbados, works in the Bahamas, it can work elsewhere in the world, in other developing countries that have the same problems. That is why we have Caribbean companies that are in 53 countries around the world and in 13 countries. They just happen to be headquartered in Jamaica or Trinidad or St. Lucia or Barbados. They can be globally competitive if they have the right approach to management, to customer service, to research and development.
Mm-hmm. No, understood. So I think it goes back to having it. Jamaica has always been that trade hub, so to speak, right? So in the olden times, it was Port Royal that was kind of the center of the new world and everything else. And more recently, we've seen other trading hubs around the world. So Singapore, being one, Hong Kong, Dubai, right? So how would you relate Jamaica in that? I would say in that space in terms of being, the Singapore of the Caribbean, so to speak.
Well, yeah, it could be the Singapore of the Caribbean, is what I said on Bloomberg, and I'll keep saying it. Some Jamaicans are upset when I bring that up, and I think they're upset because Singapore reminds them of what Jamaica could have been, right? Both countries got independence around the same time. Both countries were part of a federation, and then were no longer part of that federation. Both countries were next door to a very large population, China, US. Both of them have one of the 7 largest naturally protected harbors in the world. Singapore has the Straits of Malacca, so location made sense. But British-based legal system, British colonial history, British school system. So when you look at those various things, not English as your first language, and we have to admit that for Jamaica, English is not our first language. We speak Patois, and we just have to admit that, Jamaican, as a Jamaican language unit, UWI would like to call it. I might have some disagreement there. But there are so many similarities, except that we had a resource curse. We had so much arable land, we had bauxite. Singapore didn't have that. They don't even have drinking water. So they had to be smarter in the way they approached their economic growth. But more importantly, they decided that their people would have to be educated properly. And then they decided that they were not going to have any corrupt government officials. You had people with vision leading the country. Jamaica has made key mistakes since 1962, really since 1968-9 onwards. There have been key mistakes that have caused us to fall behind Singapore. And that's why Lee Kuan Yew has been to Jamaica more than once and talks about it in his book From Third World to First. And every Jamaican, in my opinion, should read that. Yes, we cannot repeat Singapore, and nobody's saying to repeat that. Yes, Singapore is a parliamentary democracy, but for the most part, one party has run it. But you know why one party kept winning? Because they kept doing a good job for their people. Singapore was poorer than Jamaica in 1962. It is now in the top 5 richest countries in the whole world. One of the safest countries, one of the cleanest countries. They've brought in higher level businesses into their economy, and people want to move there. And it has nothing to do with their tax rate. So if we don't want to learn from who has done it and is better than us, then in my opinion, you're just hard-headed. You need to humble yourself. Look at Costa Rica, look at Chile, look at Botswana, look at Rwanda, look at Singapore, look at South Korea, look at Japan, look at Germany. We can learn from the best in the world who've done it before. And there's no reason Jamaica can't do that if we don't decide that we want better for that country, for ourselves, and for future generations. I think is a no-brainer. If you close your eyes coming out of the Panama Canal, you run aground in Jamaica. Why wouldn't Jamaica be the hub of the Western Hemisphere as a transshipment hub based on our connection, same time zone as the East Coast of the US, and we obviously know how to speak English, and a British-based legal system. We're mostly Americanized. We're an ally of America. To me, it's a no-brainer. Why haven't we moved faster to get that done?
Yeah, so touching on that in terms of speed, right? And how and policy, right? So that's how a lot of some of those countries that you mentioned scaled a lot quicker than Jamaica. What are the opportunities or challenges that you see when it relates to technology, right? So going from 10xing productivity or 10xing growth, et cetera, right? And on the governance piece, what are some of the challenges that you also see there?
Well, so opportunities and challenges are 2 sides of the same coin, as we know, right? Basically, yin and yang. And so what I would look at first of all is what can we do different on the productivity side, right? Jamaica compared to Barbados or Trinidad looks atrocious when it comes to productivity. And there are Caribbean countries too, so it can't be this island time is a reason. We as Jamaicans, for some reason, only want to be fast at one thing, track and field. We don't care about being fast at anything else. So we, as a prime minister, Holness had said, is that we need to learn to move at bolt speed, learn to be efficient and take pride in doing it well at the same time. So stop with this laid-back attitude that I saw it go. You're too foreign-minded. No, we need to be globally competitive. The world is flat, as Thomas Friedman has said. So keep that in your head. Nobody has to come to Jamaica for sun, sea, and sand. They can go to Mexico for that. They can go to Bahamas. They can go to Spain. What are you doing to differentiate yourself, and what is going to make people want to do business with you? The complaints I get about doing business in Jamaica versus any other Caribbean country are not surprising. But some Jamaicans don't want to hear that. Constructive criticism is not welcome. Man, you're too foreign-minded. Okay, well, then you're going to stay at 5,500 per capita US dollars, right, in terms of GDP. While Barbados is going to be not at 25,000, Trinidad is going to be not at 30,000 because they are not doing that. The Bahamas is not doing that. So we need to learn from the best and then apply that. Just simple case studies. We're taught this in business school. Everybody that go to business school know that. So that's number one. Change our mindset. We can be better. We used to be better. Let's be better. That's what we need to start. Mindset first. Number two, we need to pay people well, right? Just because my productivity goes up doesn't mean that the company is going to do better, because if I am not rewarded for doing it better, doing it faster, doing it more efficiently, doing it cheaper, then I'm not going to keep doing it, right? We have to reward people. You incentivize workers to do better. So we have to increase our wages and the way we pay. So you pay for performance. To me, that makes sense. So this also then spreads the wealth. You can have a growing middle class when you pay people better. Henry Ford famously paid his workers 10 times as much as the other car companies because he wanted his workers to be able to afford the products that they bought. But it also made them have more pride in the products. So we have to pay people better. So we want productivity, but we want to pay them better as well, which allows them to then have a growing middle class, which then can spend more money in the country, which then has a multiplier effect within that country. We need to invest in the education system. We know that. We have known that. I don't understand why we don't spend more as a percentage of GDP investing in education. The direction of your education system determines the future of your country. Simple. That is proven everywhere in the world. Jamaica has a numeracy problem and a literacy problem. We have to solve that ASAP, or we get left behind in this fifth industrial revolution, which is AI and machine learning. We've already missed the boat on the IT side, right? On that information revolution, which was the fourth industrial revolution. We need to play catch up very quickly, but we do have the opportunity to leapfrog. We've proven, we've won the Microsoft Imagine Cup for so many years out of like the last 12 years. It's amazing what we can do when given resources. So there's a lack of resources for people, for students, for teachers. We need to invest in healthcare. We are investing in infrastructure. That's great. I can get from Kingston to Ontario faster, so much faster. And that's under both the PNP and the JLP. Excellent. Countries need good infrastructure. Well, you know what else countries need? Countries need healthy people to drive on the road to deliver the goods. You have to have healthy, educated population. Jamaica is working on that. We need to do a better job of making sure people are healthy and have access to affordable, quality healthcare, especially on the prevention side. But Jamaica is better than the United States. I don't know if we're better than Barbados or Bahamas, though. So we still have some catching up to that. We know this, though. We've seen what these hospitals look like, some of the smaller ones and the clinics. So there is investment going into it. A lot more needs to go in that. And then the elephant in the room that we all know, crime and corruption. You need leaders who have the political will to actually deal with the crime and corruption problem. They are twins. Crime and corruption is a crime, right? Stealing money, graft, that's a crime. From what I saw, the World Bank did a report and it said that if Jamaica could just bring its murder rate down to that of Costa Rica, we would have more than 4.5% GDP growth per annum. Jamaica has never grown more than 4.5% a year since the 1960s. Never. That is a problem. GDP growth shouldn't matter. And all we have to do is bring the crime rate down to Costa Rica's level, which means we can study Costa Rica. We can study Colombia. I do understand the murder rate is down in 2023. That's the first time I've seen in quite some time that Jamaica's had a murder rate going in the proper direction. Too many people are still being killed. Still #2 per capita for murders for countries not in a war. So it's going in the right direction. More needs to happen. But that means that we, the diaspora, have more to do because we have a role to play, right? We can provide capital to upgrade police stations. We can provide insight into things we have learned here and support the government with that to help them with their crime fighting strategy. We can report the people we know who are sending guns and barrels from the US back to Jamaica. That's our part. That's what we can do. But the government has to ensure that they pay the police better, ensure that they're resourced, hire more police. We're missing, I think, 12,000 police officers in Jamaica at this point, based on our population size. So again, it comes down to where do you want to put the resources? Unfortunately, it doesn't matter which party has been in power, there has been no political will to actually deal with crime and corruption in Jamaica. We can barely name any politicians that have gone to jail in Jamaica for corruption. So clearly something is wrong. We can name the gangs that are affiliated with each political party in Jamaica. We can name the seats that are safe seats for somebody to run in and keep their seat. It is not a competitive seat because it is a garrison. That have to change. Some people don't want you to say that. I just saw it go. Well, then Jamaica going to stay where it is then, and the other countries will then leapfrog us. Guyana will leapfrog Jamaica if Jamaica does not change in all the things I just said. And there's more, but at least that stuff need to change. And it's a start. And Deng Xiaoping, that's a communist in China, went to Lee Kuan Yew in Singapore and said, I need to know how to do this. And that's what they did. They went and took that and created Chongqing and had the Chongqing model, and then scaled from there and built out what we now see in Shenzhen and these other places. He was willing, as the leader of a massive country with a 7,000-year history, to go to little old Lee Kuan Yew in Singapore, across the water. I need your help. Show me something. And then what does Deng Xiaoping say? Does not matter if the cat is black or white, as long as the cat catches mice. Use what works for your people. And China is where it is today because of him, not because of Chairman Mao, because of Deng Xiaoping humbling himself and going to Lee Kuan Yew. But we have Jamaicans who don't want to hear about Singapore, who don't want to look at Singapore, who don't want to look at Botswana, South Korea, Germany, Costa Rica, Rwanda. We have to get with the program.
No, true. You know, 2 words. It's having that real conversation, so to speak, the real talk.
Real talk.
You know,
Real talk.
no, a real talk. Yeah.
Come to Jesus. Come to Jesus moment. Just have it, and don't take
sure.
offense to it. Right? We know what we need to do. You know, we're either afraid to do it, or we don't want to do it.
Understood. Yeah, you know, so based on that, you know, as I said, the challenges are there, the opportunity is there also, right? The need for technology, for us to, I would say, scale or leapfrog, you know, where we're currently at is also important. And us, you know, now is a good time with, I would say, some of the efficiencies with AI and everything else for now for us to kind of pull that button and, you know, run that race, right? So it's a decision that we have to make as, I would say, obviously the government and also as a people, right? Similarly to what India did in terms of them revolutionizing and them stepping up the value chain in terms of technology. So I believe a while back you had a couple tweets that you had that you had sent out. So I believe in 2019 you had said you you had a you spoke with Michael Leach and then discussing, you know, your business plan and everything. He came back with a chart. I think you posted it recently with the X and Y axis. You know, about compound effort.
Yeah, man.
So if you could touch on that a little bit, and then also, previously you spoke about confidence, right? And kind of exuding that, and if you're not confident, so if you could touch on both those example based on some previous tweets,
You know,
that would be
I
good.
wish
Yeah.
if I knew you were going to do that, I would have dropped because I have a whiteboard right here. You know. But I don't know if I have any, I don't have the thing nearby to draw on the whiteboard. So,
Okay. Oh, okay. I could probably edit it and put it on the screen.
yeah. I mean, it's fun to sit down and draw it, but I can always send it a picture and you can put that picture up. I can email it a picture because I have the actual picture of the graph Mike drew. But the idea
Yeah,
is,
I have it. I have it here.
oh, you have it. Oh, perfect. So you can put it up there. So the idea is that if you think about time and effort, right? Or some people are going to think success versus effort, but I tend to think time and effort and the destination is success. You're going towards that. The idea is that over time, oh, we're going to pull it up. Oh, look at this. I'll wait for it. Oh, it's a virtual whiteboard. I have never done this. This is a pen. Oh, wow, this is great. So I'm going to
Yeah.
undo. Oh, so I can draw it on here. This is, oh, man. Boy, you teach me something today. I love this. All right. Well, I did the mouse is upstairs, but I can do this. So we're doing our two axes, right? And so I want to call this one time, and I'm going to call this one effort. Mike has it as success, but I actually prefer this. So the idea is that in our brains, over time, the effort we put out, we think is like that, up and to the right. That's just naturally how we think. Unfortunately, the way that it really works is that it's an exponential curve. And this is actually how it works in entrepreneurship. It takes time. And the problem is that, say after 2 years, you're right here. In your head, you think that you should be here. And all your friends and family around you saying, hey, oh, you're not up there. Because you're actually down here. And so what Mike said is that he asked me at that time, what do you call it? The difference between perception and reality. I said, man, right now I'm frustrated. And he said, great, that's F. Right? That's F. I said, but you're going to push through, you're going to keep at it. Yeah, man, it's only 2 years, so you push through that frustration. He says, 3 more years gone, is now year 5. You feel that you should be here. Inherently in your brain, you're working it for 5 years now. 5 years you're working in the business. All your friends and family now telling you, why you waste your time? And Mike said, what do you call this? And I said, oh, that's MF, more frustration. What do most people do at this point in time? They give up.
They give up. Yeah.
They give up and they start back over. And they keep doing that over and over until they hit 65 years or retire and look back and say, oh my gosh, what did I do with my life? They kept giving up. They kept listening to the negative voices around them. They kept forgetting that it's going to take exponential growth, compound effort. So the idea is that, according to Einstein, the 8th wonder of the world is compound interest. Mike wants to talk about compound effort and talk about the 10,000 hours that we talk about in Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell, who is Jamaican as well. The idea is that you have to push through more frustration because eventually it gets easier. You're going to hit an inflection point and then it's exponential growth. So you just need to push through. Jeff Bezos says that on average, it takes 10 years to become an overnight success. 10 years. It so happens that 10 years ago this year, January, is when I talked to people about Blue Mahoe. We only launched it 5 years ago, but 10 years ago is when the seed was planted for the idea. So 10 years is how much it takes to become an overnight success. And that is the graph that Mike talks about as compound effort. So stop worrying about the perception and where you think success is going to be. It's not up and to the right. No business is up and to the right. In fact, it's a lumpy journey and you want it to be eventually exponential. And then it becomes so much easier. The catch with that though is that if you're doing the wrong thing, if we just draw the curve going down, you're doing the wrong thing, you think you're going to be here, but it's exponential as well. So you're doing the wrong thing for 2 years and you don't get caught. And so you keep moving and you do the wrong thing for 5 years. And you don't get caught. And then all of a sudden, this is you. And you end up in jail, burning Madoff. Be careful about compounding effort doing the wrong thing, right? I did swimming in Jamaica. Mr. Lopez is who taught me to swim down on Waterloo Road. I swam for prep school and high school. And he always told us it's not about practice makes perfect. Diligent practice makes perfect. Practice doing the right thing, you'll perfect it. Practice doing the wrong thing, and you will perfect it. So we have to focus on what we are compounding our effort doing. And that's the key. If you practice kicking the ball the wrong way, you'll become perfect at kicking the ball the wrong way.
All right, well said. And yeah, you can go either, I would say either trajectory, right?
Yeah.
But the main thing that I got also is time, which is important, right? So a lot of people think, success is overnight and and that level of instant gratification, right? Because now you go to Starbucks, you can order the latte. You have the iPhone, you can order the Uber and everything, and it comes to you right away, right? But success is actually it's a journey, and the time
I love that
I
to the
think is the
journey.
most important. Yeah,
I'm gonna have to quote you with that analogy. Success is not like a Uber that they can just click the app and it comes to you right away.
exactly,
Well put, boss.
exactly. All right. Yeah, so touching on this success and the journey and the plan. I know a while back the government released the Vision 2030
Yeah.
um for for Jamaica, and we're almost halfway into that. So I wanted for you to touch on that and see how we've measured up so far, and then we can also discuss what are some of those I think the nuggets that you've kind of pulled out of that, and some of the plans.
No, it's great. So I actually have it here. This is the Vision
Yeah.
2030 Jamaica's National Development Plan, planning for a secure and prosperous future. And this was put together by a number of parties, both political parties, private sector, public sector, and a number of other people. This was published in 2009 by the Planning Institute of Jamaica. They were supposed to send out a medium-term report. Like every 3 years, they're supposed to report on their progress on achieving the things laid out in here. They only put out one. They have never released any more that I've seen so far. There have been little updates to this, but it lays out everything, right? So we talk about the national goals of Jamaica. We want Jamaicans to be empowered to achieve their fullest potential. We want Jamaica to be a society that's secure, cohesive, and just. We want the economy to be prosperous. We want a healthy natural environment. And then, of course, we get into national outcomes. So I think it's so important. Let's think about it, because people can watch this and answer. I don't even have to answer. I'm going to say, we want an outcome, number one, a healthy and stable population. Number two, world-class education and training. Number three, effective social protection. Number four, authentic and transformational cultures. All right. Number five, security and safety. And number six, effective governance. Those are the 6 things that they believe are crucial for Jamaica having a secure, cohesive, and just society. Then we talk about an economy that is prosperous. Here are the outcomes that they wanted. A stable macro economy. Check that one. We want an enabling business environment. Check that one. We want strong economic infrastructure. I will check that one as well. Energy security and efficiency. We're actually doing a pretty good job. Wigton Wind Farm is one of the largest wind farms in the entire Caribbean. We have one of the largest solar installations in the Caribbean. So I like that. And then we have natural gas in Jamaica. So we do actually have better energy security. We don't just buy bunker C diesel and burn oil anymore. So that's good. We want a technology-enabled society. We are progressing towards that. So I will give that. I pay less in Jamaica to flow for my megabits there, right, than here. I pay more in here in America, in Florida, than I pay in Jamaica for the same speed. So I'll give them that one, a technology-enabled society. We need data rates to come down a bit, but it's there. So check that one as well. And then we want internationally competitive industry structures. And then they list them. We want agriculture to be internationally competitive. We're still working on that because we don't have enough mechanized farming. We want internationally competitive manufacturing. We're not there. The cost of power is still too expensive in Jamaica. So it is cheaper to manufacture in Trinidad. In fact, most people are going to manufacture in China to bring it to Jamaica. So we can do assembly. We're not competitive yet in manufacturing because of our productivity costs and the cost of our electricity. Those two problems. Construction, mining and quarrying. Well, we're certainly booming with construction. I actually don't want us to be competitive with mining and quarrying. I don't want us to keep digging up the place. We need a green country. Creative industries. Why? We are competitive in creative industries. We haven't invested enough capital though. But reggae music, big up Bob Marley right now in the movie. We know we're there. Sport, we're definitely competitive, globally competitive. People would pay to come to Jamaica to learn how to sprint. Let's be honest about that. So there's an opportunity, 100% that there. Information and communications technology. We're growing. We have 3 fiber optic rings around the entire Caribbean. Flow is based in Jamaica, Digicel based in Jamaica. So there's obviously opportunity there on the ICT side. We have more we can do, but boy, I feel like that's like a B grade, B plus maybe. Services, globally competitive services. I had an interesting discussion the other day with Dad. He was saying, complaining about customer service from one of the banks. And I said, pause that. Let me make you stop and think again. Tell me which bank you feel has the best customer service in Jamaica. And his answer was, they're all bad. Only one of them is better than the rest, right? This is the best of the worst, but they're all bad. I was like, great, let's step back even further now. Tell me which company in Jamaica has the best customer service, because it's easier to name companies with good customer service in Jamaica than the ones that have bad customer service. Bad customer service is par for the course in Jamaica. In fact, you feel like, you know what, my money? Like, why am I standing in there to pay you? It's a joke. You clearly don't need my money as a customer then. So, and that he's like, you know, such a good point. Customer service being bad is normal. We are horrible at customer service, but Sandals and Beaches are amazing at customer service because they went and studied Disney to understand Disney University and why they have such good customer service. Then they create Sandals University and train everybody to a certain standard. So we need to improve that 100%, but we've proven it can be done with a homegrown company, Sandals Resorts. And then lastly, our tourism. They wanted to be international competitive. Man, 4.4 million tourists, that's a record coming to Jamaica. I think we are internationally competitive with the awards that Jamaica wins every year. We definitely have set the bar very high. What Jamaicans would want to say is that they want more of that money to stay in Jamaica though when it is made. So that is where we have the issue. Not it's internationally competitive, but how much money I stay a yard. And that's where we look, right? We talk about a healthy natural environment, sustainable management and use. I think we're doing better with green space in Jamaica, but we still have some issues, right? And then we want to talk about climate change. I mean, we saw what just happened in Montego Bay. So mitigation is an issue. Hellshire just washing away. We have issues there, but there are things being developed. You see what they did with out by Norman International Airport along Palisados. That was focused on climate resilience and thinking 10, 20 years down the line. So that's excellent. And then sustainable urban and rural development. There's more rural development happening. I love that this highway leg just opened going out to St. Thomas now. That's incredible. It's the poorest parish and the most overlooked parish in Jamaica. It just get a KFC, man. KFC opening in Jamaica around the 70s. It is the forgotten parish, right? What they're doing there shows that rural development does matter. It can't just be Kingston and Mobay and the kids just come home. But that's how I would grade them. It is all in here. It is literally in the book. I don't have to come up with any new ideas. The ideas are written in here. How to solve crime, how to have a healthier population, how to fix the education system. It's here. It was written in 2009. We have not followed it. We have not graded our leaders and our public sector based on their own plan. They have failed at this plan. And more Jamaicans need to go read this. You can literally Google it and download it. There's a PDF version of this you can go and read right now, today. Go grade them and ask them, where is the last report? How we doing, guys? Because they work for us. Politicians work for us.
True.
So grade them. And if they fail, you fire them and hire new people. And if those people fail, you fire